You know, there's an age-old saying that has been around for many, many years and has been told by many, many different people. Defense wins games. And when it comes to this one, it was pretty obvious. The defensive side of the ball won the game. Let's do a review. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Drew, better known as RockChalk01, and today, yesterday, whenever you're watching this, the 3-0 Kansas Jayhawks were back home at David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium for their Big 12 Conference opener as they took on the undefeated BYU Cougars and won a pretty decent game by a final score of 38-27. Yeah, first off, the spread of this ball game at close was 9.5. which I did not believe KU would win and cover this game. I thought we would win, but it would be a lot closer. And sure enough, KU ended up covering the spread, which, wow. But also with the win, KU improves to 4-0, and that is the second consecutive season that KU has started the season 4-0. And it is the first time that KU has gone 4-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time since doing it in a three-peat back in 1913 all the way through 1915. So it's been over 100 plus years since Kansas has gone 4-0 in back-to-back years. Now, there was a lot of good things that came out of this game, but there was a few things that really need to be fixed. So that being said, for those of you who do not know, I give positives and negatives about the game. I give a player of the game and a player who needs to improve. Without further ado, let's do it. Although it was below average, KU did put up a pretty good offensive game, as KU had 351 total yards, which includes only 130 passing yards, but was mainly powered behind 221 rushing yards, an average of 6.3 yards per play. Who would have thought that the run game would carry KU offensively? I didn't expect it. I thought we would throw for more, but man, it just did not happen. And in retrospect, we didn't need to. Our run game really just defined us, and we really did not need to throw the ball at all. So, yeah, that's a good sign. Now, another positive that I do want to point out, I'm not going to talk about the passing yards for BYU because that's more of a we need to fix. But rushing yards, this was KU's best performance when it came to the run defense in a long time. Kansas held BYU to only 9 rushing yards the entire game. Just wow. And if you just went back to the first half, Kansas held BYU to -4 yards rushing. So they only ended up getting 13 in the second half for a 9-yard total, averaging 0.4 yards per carry. So yeah, having an insane rush defense and holding them to single digits, it's without a doubt a positive. Picking up first downs and converting on third down is a positive for me. Now, the first down situation, KU and BYU actually tied, getting 23 first downs each. So that's more of a push. But it really comes down to converting on third down, which KU ended up converting just a tad bit better than BYU, which makes no sense to me because I swear BYU had more third down conversions than KU did at all. But I guess not. KU ended up 4 of 8 on third down, which is 50%, and BYU was 6 of 14 on third down, which is, I believe, if I do my math correct, a little under 48%. The fact that we stopped them on third down and we still managed to convert 50%, I mean, that's a bonus. So yeah, converting on third down and picking up firsts, that's positive. And the final positive is my biggest positive. KU winning the turnover battle in remarkable fashion. Now, I will get into remarkable fashion in just a bit, but KU winning the turnover battle was a huge difference in this ball game. KU had 0 turnovers in this game. Nada. Nothing. While BYU had 3. A fumble and 2 interceptions. 2 out of the 3 turnovers went for touchdowns on the defensive side. A scoop and score and a pick 6. And they were big plays for KU. It's the first time since 2018 against Rutgers where KU had 2 defensive touchdowns in the same game. And in the Rutgers game, it was 2 pick 6s. This is the first time it's the combo of the 2, where it's the scoop and score and a pick 6. Which, wow. So, yeah, with all that said, turnovers and doing it in grandiose fashion, that's a positive. And with all that said, those are my positives. Negatives, actually getting outgained in this game kind of sucks. Because the fact that we ended up winning this by 11 and we still got outgained kind of diminishes it a bit. And it's all done by the passing yards, as BYU had 357 passing yards. And you add it to the 9 yards on the ground, BYU outgained KU 366 to 351. Our corners and safeties need a little bit of work. I mean, yes, they got the turnovers and stuff like that, but when it comes to receiver coverage, we laid somewhat of an egg. And those ended up leading to 6 points multiple times. We just got to do better forcing bad throws. We would get the quarterback under pressure, but we would leave their check down routes wide open, slant routes wide open, crossing routes wide open. It's those short passes that ended up going for like 10, 15 yards when it really should have been like 5 and that's it. We really got to do better. So, yeah, unfortunately, getting basically blown out by the passing yards and losing the yardage game, that's a negative. Another big negative was penalties, as KU once again lost the penalty battle, and some of them were ticky-tack, I will admit. But we gotta just make sure we keep our hands to ourselves. KU had 7 penalties for 70 yards, while BYU had 3 penalties for 30. That's a huge difference. Oh, should I also say that BYU only had 1 in the first half, while KU had 5. There was a big difference. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but we got to just make sure we keep our hands to ourselves and not tug on the jersey, not tug on the face mask, not freaking grab somebody when they're going up for a catch. It's simple. So, yeah, penalties and having them way too often, it's a negative. And the final negative is a nitpick, as KU did lose the time of possession by 10 seconds. Sue me for that one. BYU held on to the ball for 30 minutes and 5 seconds, while KU had it for 29 minutes and 55. Again, it's a nitpick. What are you going to do? But, yeah, not having the ball for the majority of the time kind of sucks. So, yeah, that's a negative. And with all that said, those are my negatives. Player of the game. Now, it's actually weird because the last 3 times I had players of the game, it was 2 offensive guys. This time, it's an offense and a defensive player. So, let's start with the defensive player because I want to get that out of the way. Kobe Bryant. My goodness. Although it didn't seem like he had it, his big plays really secured the victory for KU. Kobe had 3 tackles, none for loss, but he also had a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, an interception, and a defensive touchdown. All in this game. Yes! He was all over the place. The Hawk Mamba did everything you could, except get a sack. But other than that, I mean, what could you do? He did everything that he could. Pass protected well. blew up the run like no one's business, took a fumble recovery to the house, and just as an added bonus, got an underthrown interception and took it about 20 yards. Come on! This was kind of a no-brainer for me. So yeah, for the first time this season, Kobe Bryant is one of my players of the game. Now the offensive side, my player of the game is going to be Jalen Daniels. Although it wasn't really big on the yards, he was responsible for every single offensive touchdown in this game. Daniels, 14 of 19 for 130 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, as well as running the ball for 9 carries and 54 yards. Yeah, JD with 3 touchdown passes. I mean, he had like 6 against Arkansas last season, but week 4 has been his lucky week when it came to touchdown passes, as he had 4 last season on week 4 against Duke. This time he has 3 and no interceptions. Big things are happening with JD. And also his run game was pretty well. He almost broke one, but he got like shoestring tackled at the 50 that ended up being like an 18-yard gain, but it could have been so much more. But yeah, he was incredible, completing over 73% of his passes and not having an interception in this game really helped him. So yeah, JD is one of my co-players of the game. And with all that said, my co-players of the game, Jalen Daniels and Kobe Bryant. Player who needs to improve, Mason Fairchild. He was targeted once and didn't even get a good hand on it. Unfortunately, stuff like that happens. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, that changes and he actually starts getting some more looks as well as receptions. But unfortunately, for the second time this season, he really has been non-existent. And this time he was non-existent because he really didn't record anything. So, yeah, with that said, and not much else, Mason Fairchild is my player who needs to improve. Alright, before I go, I do have a couple top plays for you. And wouldn't you know it, it's going to be the defensive scores that KU had in this game. We start with the first one, which came early in the first quarter on BYU's second play from the offensive side of the ball. On a basically wide receiver sweep, Kobe Bryant read this like a book and put one of the hardest hits on this receiver to force a fumble, recover the ball, and return this thing for a scoop and score to give KU a 7-0 lead. Here's that play. And the final top play, we head to the early portions of the third quarter with BYU up by 3 after receiving the opening kickoff to begin the second half. A critical third down play would be the demise of the BYU offense on this drive, as a circus tip drill ends up into the hands of Kenny Logan, and he takes it back for a pick 6 to give KU a 21-17 lead. Here's the tip drill and the interception. These two plays helped define the way KU was going to win this ball game. And yeah, they were incredible too. So congratulations to Kobe Bryant as well as Kenny Logan. You two have my top plays. And with all that said, that is going to do it for my review of KU versus BYU. Again, the final score, Kansas 38, BYU 27. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and push that notification bell, and tell your friends about these videos. And I should see you again for the next review, as the Hawks will travel down, likely for the final time, to Austin, Texas, to take on, as of right now, the third-ranked Texas Longhorns as they will be leaving for the SEC next season. Yeah, it sucks that they're leaving, but this game will be nationally televised on ABC. So, big things are happening in Lawrence. But, until then, have a good day. Never ever bring exotic dancers to the field house. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.